Hello friends, Samuel Graham doing TCGs again, coming back to an old favorite, not so old, but still a favorite, Flesh and Blood with the new Classic Battles starter box. So I'm not exactly starting, but some of this still look pretty cool. I didn't realize this until opening it. This box is even foiled. That's a really... The art on this is really good looking. So what this is essentially a two-player starter deck. I believe it's essentially a blitz deck. So the back of the box kind of gives you an idea of what each hero is trying to do. So Dorinthia or Rhinar, warrior or brute. It kind of explains your weapon and kind of the idea of what the person is doing. Dorinthia is trying to spread the light as close combat master, punishes enemies when they attempt to defend, that kind of stuff. Her sword is the Dawn Blade. Well, Rhinar has an ability called Intimidate that basically makes people... If I remember Intimidate correctly, and I'll find out here in a second, I've not actually played with a brute. Dorinthia is actually kind of my go-to. You basically have to set aside a card for the rest of the turn that you can't use to defend when the brute is attacking. So first thing, I really like the presentation of the box. That is pretty cool. Let's see what's the best way to open it up. Okay, so there is tape up here. Where are my scissors? My pocket knife is not in my pocket either. One of those days. So opening it from the top there. So there's cardboard insert. You can kind of see down into the box there. We'll take that out. It looks like there's more cardboard insert, but let's take a look at what we've got here. So this is, looks like it is a paper play mat. I am betting, yep, can't quite get all of it on here at the same time, but it is a two-player paper play mat, but it also, if I can get it to where, I'm not going to be able to get it around, but for some of the stuff, for the weapon, for the arsenal, for pitch, like it explains a lot of what is going on in gameplay in the slot. So weapon, it explains you can attack with your weapon every turn by paying its resource cost. Your weapon returns here when the combat chain closes. Pitch cards from your hand to gain resources equal to the pitch value. At the end of turn, put the cards in the pitch zone on the bottom of your deck. And then arsenal. At the end of your turn, if your arsenal is empty, you may put one card from hand face down. You can only play cards. You can only play cards from arsenal. It's not saying you can only play cards if they're in your arsenal. No. It's basically saying you can't pitch a card from your arsenal. The only thing you can do with an arsenal card standard is play it. You can't pitch it, and I don't believe you can defend with it. You can react with it, but I don't believe you can defend with it. So this is kind of neat. It's like a little mini... Okay. I'll have to look at... they kind of let people circulate it. I don't remember for sure if this is... I think it is, but I don't remember completely. If this is the same story... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, but that's still cool. So there's the big lore book that was in the old promo kits, like the first kits 2 years ago or whatever, back with Welcome to Wraith. They came with a bunch of the Ira decks, a big old, really nice looking like coffee table lore book, and some stuff like that. And it had sort of a story and explanation for each of the Welcome to Wraith Heroes. So this book is the Dorinthia story, and then, oh, that's a cool piece of art in the middle there. And then, oh, okay, so it gets to the end here, and then it actually looks like it flips over. Okay, so yeah, that's what it is. So on one side it's Rhinar, on the other side it's Dorinthia. Now, here's another thing. So people call Dorinthia Dory, which is fine. I've taken towards it myself. But the thing I remember from the lore book, and I always called her Thea. So that's still my preferred name for Dorinthia, is Thea rather than Dory. But hey, what do you do? So then we've got the rest of the packaging here. Looks like just the 2 decks in there. Let's see how easily this wants to open. So I think by now I've seen most of the cards that are in this, but I haven't paid super close attention to what all of them do. So I will be curious to see them like actually in hand. Both just to see for sure what they do and how they look, for that matter. So let's see. This has got to be the Brute deck. So Bone Vizier. That's a rainbow foil headpiece. So that's the cool thing about this too, is how many foils there actually are in this. So we got a Bone Vizier headpiece. It's destroyed, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's 6 or more, put it on top of your deck. Otherwise, put it on the... Okay, so I guess it's cycling to try and get you a big ol' hit. And Blade Break means when you use it, it's gone. Okay, Blossom of Spring. Now, this is the other thing. So this is already a pretty cool looking card, and I like that art. So next month's promo kit has an extended art version of this that looks amazing. Like, this already looks good in the extended art, and I think it's the cold foil for the kit, which would make sense. Is just amazing. So yeah, that's not bad. Destroy it. Use an action, destroy it to gain an action, and go again. Gain an action. Is that right? No. Being stupid. To gain a resource. Misspoke. Go again. So that's still not bad, though. I mean, if you've got the action, you get a free resource. It's like a pocket tunic, I guess. Like it only gives you 1. It doesn't recharge, but I mean, it's not bad for what it is. Ironhide Gauntlet. That's not new. It's the Monarch one, I believe. Ironhide Legs. Same story. All right, here we go. The cold foil Rhinar, which I believe this is the same ability. Like, this is the same as the classic Rhinar, just with different art and in cold foil. But that's pretty sweet. It's neat to have a cold foil, and I think there are 2 cold foils in each deck, actually. It's neat to have a cold foil in the starter kit here. So Intimidate. Here's a card that explains it. He uses imposing presence, fierce, and bellows to intimidate. When you're playing Rhinar, your goal is to intimidate the opponent multiple times in a single turn, leaving them defenseless. There are many cards with Intimidate, including Rhinar himself. It means target hero banishes face down a random card from hand at the beginning of end phase. Return the card to. So yeah, it is what I was thinking it was. It's basically you just 1 random card from your hand. Could be your best defense. Could be something garbage. You just can't use it that turn. So if you manage to intimidate 4 times and you can't defend it all, that gets nasty. Bone Basher. I mean, it's cold foil and it's cool. I don't know that it's not my favorite weapon art. Once per turn, use 2 to attack for 4. I mean, 4 is a good... There's not a lot of stuff defends for 3, so that's kind of the kicker for that. So 4 makes somebody kind of over defend a little bit. I'm not sure that this is really a particularly special weapon compared to, oh gosh, I can't even remember whatever the same club was in the original set. Like I say, I'm not super into brute, but I don't know this is a lot better than it, but it's still cool to have a cold foil weapon in there and just have yet another kind of option too. All right, here's another exclusive. It's only good for Blitz. The mentors can only be used for a young hero. When it's face down in Arsenal, at the start of your turn, you may turn him face up. When Rukutan is face up in Arsenal, whenever you play a card with 6 or more attack, intimidate and put a lesson counter on him. Okay, so you intimidate when you do it, and then you put a counter. When there are 2 or more lesson counters on Rukutan, banish him, search your deck for Alpha Rampage, put it up face up in Arsenal, and shuffle. That seems okay. For a... oh, that just looks too cool. It's a little bit more gruesome than I typically go for, but man, that's a gorgeous piece of extended art, and my camera is just not feeling it. Speaking of Alpha Rampage, so it's Rhinar specialization, so only Rhinar can use it. As an additional cost to play Alpha Rampage, discard a random card. Okay, fine. When you attack with it, intimidate. So it's got intimidate again, but it also does 9. And it'll cost 3, so you got to discard a card, but 3 for 9 is still pretty good, especially when you get the intimidate on top of it. That doesn't stink. So I think that's it basically through the fancy cards. So these are both new. And then the Rhinar is new art and cold foil weapon. A reprint of Alpha Rampage. This is actually a Welcome to Wraith card, but a Majestic and a new exclusive Majestic. That's pretty cool. So we got 2 new, not for now exclusive, except for the promo kit. Alt art, new, and reprint Majestic. That's not bad. Now, some of the brute stuff, I don't remember for sure if it's a brand new card or not, but I'm pretty sure this is. If you've intimidated again, it gets +2. I mean, that's decent enough too. So you get 2 of those at red pitch. This is not a new card, but that's considered a rare. Common Pack Hunt, that's an older one. Bare Fangs, I feel like that's new. Draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more is discarded this way, it gains plus. That's not... I mean, that burns through cards fast, but it's an interesting way to get extra attack in. Wild Ride. I think... Was this an Everfest? Good grief. I'm going to know more about the warrior stuff. Wrecking Ball. Draw a card, then discard. Okay, so that's kind of a common theme then with some of these cards. Wrecking Ball does the whole, you discard a card, you draw a card, then discard a random one. If it's 6 or more discarded, you intimidate. So that's a fun theme. Awakening Bellow, that's an oldie. It intimidates, then the next brute action gains +3 for 1 pitch. That's not too bad. Pack Call. When you defend with it, reveal the top card of your deck. If it has 6 or more, put it on top of your deck. Otherwise, put it on the bottom. Okay. So again, another card that is kind of built. It's got a decent attack, but it's also just kind of built for the defense to load up your next kind of stuff. When you attack with Smash Instinct, Intimidate, easy enough. Smash with Big Tree, pretty vanilla. 2 for 6, doesn't do anything else, and no defend. I didn't notice that about Smash with Big Tree. Muscle Mutt, 3 for 6, but 2 defense. Raging Onslaught's another oldie but goodie. Wounded Bull, another oldie. Barraging Beatdown is a familiar friend. It's another Intimidate when your next Brute attack action this turn gains. While this attack is defended by less than 2 non-equipment. Oh, I've gotten... The few times I've played against Brute, I got beaten up pretty bad by that. Barraging Beatdown indeed. Rally the Rear Guard. Another repeat card. Discard it. Rally the Rear Guard gains +3 defense. As an instant. Activate it only while it's defending. I mean, okay. That's a pretty powerful defense card. Wrecker Romp is another repeated friend. Come to Fight is another repeat. Clearing Bellow. Just straight up Intimidate, go again. For free, but it's a blue pitch. Sure. Dodge. See, this one, this is kind of what I'm talking about too. It's a 2 defense, but it's a generic blue pitch, no cost. That's interesting. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. That's just kind of intriguing. This is kind of fun. For the exact same, on the exact same token, well, I guess that this one's a reaction actually. I'll have to ponder that. So that's a defense reaction. This is actually just a resource, but unlike the Cracked Bauble, we've actually got a 3 defense, and this thing's a blue pitch. The Cracked Bauble is a yellow pitch and can't do nothing. So that's kind of an interest. Power creep! What do you do? It's not the end of the world. I kind of like it, though. I kind of like it. Alright, so that's the end of our Brute deck. Let's get into the Warrior, which is more my speed as a general rule. Yeah, this is one of those things, like the price point I'm still a little bit perplexed by, just because it's still, what I think Flesh and Blood still needs is something similar to this, similar to a Blitz, to like the Blitz decks overall, but in that like $25 maybe price range at tops. Maybe cut out the lore book, cut out some of the foils or majestics or whatever, and make it a slightly cheaper product. I still think that's something that Flesh and Blood particularly needs. That impulse grab. You know, that's how I got into card games in the first place. Was my grandparents saw a box of the old Star Wars TCG in the 90s, the Decipher game. Bought the introductory 2-player box for me for Christmas, just knowing, hey, it's a card game. He loves Star Wars. Maybe he'll like this. I still feel like, and I think they were $15 to $20 at the time. You know, inflation marches on and all that. But like, I feel like that's kind of still something that Flesh and Blood needs. The other thing I would say that they need is a product with like a card box. Think Magic bundles, Pokemon ETBs, that kind of thing. Or again, like Star Wars and Star Trek from Decipher back in the day, their and Lord of the Rings, their anthology boxes. I think for Lord of the Rings, they were deluxe starter decks. For Star Trek and Star Wars, they were official tournament sealed deck boxes, which is actually another concept that I think more games now should kind of look into as far as looking at the sealed game. And it might just be a spoiler for one of my next videos, what I am going to do to kind of talk about that. Think about it. But with no further ado, Dory. Thea. See, you guys have ruined me. It's Thea. I'm not really mad. It's okay. Okay, so we've got Iron Rot Helm as a rainbow foil here. So that goes back to the Welcome to Wraith one. That's interesting. So the generic equipment in the Brute was the later stuff, the Monarch. This is the Welcome to Wraith. We got another Blossom of Spring though, Gallantry Gold. So that's Monarch. Iron Rot Legs. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. But then there is that new Dorinthia. So that was the one thing I knew coming in. The Dorinthia actually is a new version. This is not the same young Dorinthia that was in Welcome to Wraith. The first time Dawnblade Resplendent gains go again each turn, you may attack an additional time with it this turn. So that's very specific, and I find that interesting that they went this route. Gosh, that art is incredible, though. And if I remember correctly, the playmat is basically the cover art for this box, the playmat and the armory kit, which is awesome. But yeah, so this art is fantastic. But each time Dawnblade Resplendent, that's the new Dawnblade that I believe is probably the next card or a couple cards back, gains go again, you may attack. So that's not regular Dawnblade. So then the next interesting part to me is once per turn action, attack. The second time you would attack with Dawnblade each turn, it gains +1 until end of turn. Like, that is strictly... And it's cold foil also. Like, that is strictly, to me, not as good as old Dorinthia and old Dawnblade. There may be something I'm missing, though. And holy cow, these cards look so good that I'm going to have to give a shot playing them anyway. Even knowing that they're not as good as the other one. But good grief, that's fantastic. Love it. So our mentor for this deck, with its full art, incredible looking, is Hala Golden Helm. While Hala is face up in Arsenal at the start of your turn, you may turn her... face down, you may turn her face up. While Hala is face up, whenever a sword attack you control hits, it gains go again and put a lesson counter on Hala. Okay, that actually kind of makes sense too. So when it hits, it automatically gets go again, and then Dorinthia triggers and she can attack with it again. It's fine. It's fine. Put a lesson counter. When there are 2 or more lesson counters on Hala, banish her. Search your deck for Glistening Steelblade. Put it face up in Arsenal and shuffle. Glistening Steelblade. This card, I've seen this spoiled too, and it's pretty darn good. So it's a 1 cost. It can defend for 3. Only Thea can use it. Your next Dawnblade attack, notice, not Dawnblade Resplendent. So either Dawnblade can use this. Next Dawnblade attack this turn has go again. Whenever Dawnblade hits a hero this turn, put a +1 counter on it. So, okay, so here's what just clicked with me about this Dawnblade. There's not a mechanism on this Dawnblade for counters to go away. The old Dawnblade, if you don't, I can't remember if it's if you don't attack with it or don't hit with it, all of the +1 counters on it go away. Now, this makes it easier to get +1 counters on it and thus easier to hit. So this is good for either one, but it just clicked with me why specifically this is maybe not better, but a different route, because this thing can help it get counters and stay there rather than the other one dropping the counters if you don't get that hit. Okay, it makes a little bit more sense to me now. I don't hate that. On guard. This is new. Your next weapon attack this turn gains +3. Okay, so this is cool. It's a warrior action, so this is good for any of the warriors. It's not just a weapon, so you could use it with either Bolton axes, Dory axes. You could do sabers, or obviously still Dawnblade, and just a straight up boost with Go Again. Maybe not the best or most efficient boost, but certainly not a bad one. That's not bad at all. Second swing, that's a new returning card. If you've attacked with a weapon this turn, your next attack gains +4. So like this would be a good stack. Like get this in on the first one, get this one in on the second one, have a couple of blue pitches or whatnot. You definitely get a little bit more flavor there. So that's not bad. Warrior's Valor, another oldie. Your next weapon attack this turn gains +3, and when it hits, it gains Go Again. So that's another way to trigger Thea, is to use this card to get it to hit, then automatically, okay, it's got Go Again, I can automatically swing with it again. Let me see. The first time. So it's still only once per turn. Like you can't chain it if you have some mechanism to get a ton of cards. Sharpened Steel. Hold on. I take back everything I said about On Guard. It's literally the same card as Sharpened Steel Red. It just costs 1 to do it. Run Through. Target sword attack gains Go Again. Always fun. Next sword attack this turn gains +2. So that's a reaction. So basically give it Go Again and then you can swing again. Not bad. Thrust. Target sword attack gains +3. Again, it's not terrible, but for the 1 cost and the only 2 defense, like, it's immediately not as good as On Guard, and clearly not as good as Sharpened Steel, both because it's more specific to sword, it costs 1, and only 2 defense. Now, that said, it's still an extra, and that's the same thing for On Guard versus Sharpened Steel. It's still an extra option. So, I mean, I don't think they're bad. They're just notably not as good. You have to swing only if you've attacked 2 or more times with weapons this turn. Target weapon attack gains +3. Okay. That's not a new card either, but I was getting confused. So this is Iron Song Response. It's Reprise. So this is what it was talking about on the back of the box. If the defending hero has defended with a card from hand this chain link, your weapon attack gains +3. So basically, you're daring them to play a card from hand or use a card from hand to defend, which is fun. Driving Blade. Driving Blade yellow. That's interesting. Not red. I mean, Driving Blade's a great card at any color, but I'm surprised it went yellow instead of red. So cost 2. Your next weapon attack gains +2 and Go Again. So this is automatically gearing up Dorinthia and the sword. Slice and Dice is a great card. First time you hit with a weapon this turn, if it's a sword or dagger, gains +1. Second time, it gains +2. I like this card a lot, and that's a good inclusion. On a Knife Edge, costs 0. Your next sword attack this turn gains Go Again, 2 defense. It's okay. I like it kind of in this deck. I don't know if I like it overall. Out for Blood. Everybody loves the art on this. It's a little gruesome, again, for my general tendency, but it's still a good piece of art. Like, it's well done. Target weapon attack is +2. reprise. If the defending hero is defended with a card from their hand this chain link, your next attack gains +1. So I guess you are betting on getting a second one here to boost both attacks. That's cool. Hit and run. Next weapon attack gains go again. Easy enough. If you've attacked already, your next attack this turn gains +1. Sure. Visit the blacksmith. Your next sword attack this turn gains +1. Blue pitch. So I mean, only 2 defense. So again, it's kind of thinking back to, where'd you go? Sharpened steel. So again, it's basically blue sharpened steel, but with 1 less defense. Again, kind of nice to have another option. Clearly just not as good. Blade flash, target sword attack gains go again. That's the same. Oh, so this one's actually a reaction. And it's generic. Hello, Runeblade. Toughen Up is just a defense reaction. 2 for 4. It's okay. Sigil of Solace is another oldie. Flock of the Featherwalkers is another oldie. And we got a pair of titanium baubles over here. We've got the Quicken token for if that pops up. And FABTCG OP with the full art of Dorinthia, which is awesome. So, longer than usual video today, but I kind of was going through a lot of different stuff with a lot of cards, some of which I hadn't seen yet before, and given my thoughts. I feel like this is actually probably a really good starter product for a new player, trying to get into Blitz especially, but I don't think it would be terribly difficult to, take out the mentors and beef it up to a classic constructed either. The Brute is a little underwhelming in that it has notably fewer cards that are actually like new cards in it. A lot of more Brute reprints like the Majestic, the Alpha Rampage is a reprint instead of the Thea specialization card that is new. That said, they're both intriguing, and I think they both are good. Like, there are a lot of new good options in there that aren't quite as good as existing cards, but are still good additional options. Like, if you're really going for a specific strategy, I can see how that definitely would stack up. I think this is a good product. Like, it was a no-brainer that I was going to get it just because I'm a degenerate and I've got to have all the cards anyway. But, I mean, having new stuff in it and then having, the cold foils, the Majestics that are unique to the product. Like, they're at least unique for now. Who knows if they might show up in Uprising too. Who knows? But for now, they're unique. I really like this product. I think it's fantastic, and I will probably try and find a few more of the cards to kind of get 3 of, because classic constructed is kind of typically more my style. But we shall see. I like this a lot. I think the stuff in it looks good. The new art for different things is fantastic. The Dorinthia and Dawnblade are interesting options, especially as I've kind of started looking at the new Majestic for that deck. But what do you think? Has anybody else taken a look? Taking a look with me. What did you think? What stood out to you? Do you agree that we kind of still need a different price point, like a lower price point deck? That said, a lot of people I've seen are, like, I think the MSRP for this is 50, but I've seen a few places selling it for 45 or 40, which is still a little much for a starter product, but I mean, it's inching closer. So you can find it cheaper, I mean, if you kind of look a little bit. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you for spending time with me as always. I really appreciate every second you choose to give me. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know and have a great rest of your day regardless. Thank you again. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.